So the last great wound that I worked through is that of pretty much every species, of having a creative source, whether it be aliens messing with genetics or seeding planets. And the Earth, for example, is purported to be like a capsule for plant life, animal life, and all of that from all different dimensions and other planets. The sense of abandonment, of being left to our own devices when we're not fully developed, we don't have the tools and we don't have the resources, being time, space, and protection to develop those tools for ourselves. That wound of abandonment echoed in me as a teenager, graduating high school, not seeing anything in the world I wanted to be. Saw doctors, they didn't look happy. Nobody, and no matter what they were doing, they did not look happy or fulfilled. And I was dumped into the world, literally. My father, he got remarried, and my mother up and moved. I woke up one morning, the house was empty. The neighbor came over, who was my mother's ex-boyfriend, and said that he had bought the house for my mother, and if I wanted to, I could stay there as long as I needed to, which was not comfortable. So of course I left. But I was in the world with, I was conditioned to be a drunk slut, get the attention of a man. Talk about ADHD. I could never follow through with anything. Nothing could hold my interest long enough to develop a skill and make a living out of it. I also had these phenomenal abilities to be able to learn absolutely anything. Everything came easily to me. So it was just a mess. And my wound at that point that I've carried with me into adulthood is an echoing, a repeat of the wound of the beginning of our species on planet Earth, and the species that created our situation on Earth, all the way back to the very beginning. So now I have this clarity. I know who I am. I know it's mine. And I know what is not mine. And I have such a strong sense of self that, sitting watching a movie, the spirits that created the characters, I can smell them and want, in the psychic sense, smell. I can tell that they're there. And, they would love to express through me. They would love to be embodied by me, me going and acting like that character out in the world. Everything wants to be accepted and able to express itself. The biggest that comes through us is from the original source. For me, it's what I call the dance. And the beginning was the dance. And that, its responses and reactions created everything. And so the confusion between what is fully it, what is not it, it was too overwhelming. Everything all at once. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. And in the Bible, it says that Jesus said, "Pray that you will be one with the Father as I am one with the Father." We can experience oneness. People have DMT experiences. They have awakening experiences. Oh, I am that I am. I am the creator. I am the... whatever their cultural filter declares, that from which we all came. That source energy. The matrix that is perceived when we keep returning to trying to embody being the one, being the source. That is a matrix created within the body so that the source can get a break from being everything all at once, being unable to escape its being in everything and the source of everything. It's easier to play the victim than it is to take responsibility for creating the victim. And so I learned many, many years ago, do not challenge the illusion. Because the illusion, which had become an entity itself, illusion itself is a conscious entity. Just like the characters and qualities of God are given names and embodiments as angels and such. So illusion is a real thing that will fight for its existence. And the purpose for it is for that which we call source, creator. I call the dance, but not specifically, because the dance is not contained within the illusion of a matrix, within a body or mind. And so the Great Awakening is when the matrix releases so that divinity and anything that is not this body of which this soul was born can be released and go back. Sorry, playtime's over. It's time to go home. So identifying ourselves based on an experience of oneness as source is only going to leave problems. Somebody comes up to me and says, oh, I am you. And only to the level by which they know themselves will they be able to perceive my energy. So somebody comes up to me and say, oh, I feel so much love around you. The love in me exists in the love in you. They have no comprehension of the essence of love that I embody. For some people, love is possessing, resentment, control, needing attachment. That is not the level of love. That is not the vibration of love that I embody. And my vibration of love is so distinctly different, so sublime, and so pure in its joy, in its delight. People cannot even fathom. They have no contextual feeling experience. They have no feeling context for what I feel unless they can experience oneness with that which I call the dance. And then they can understand what the dance is, that they are not the dance, that they are not source, but they can experience the oneness and carry similar feeling experiences within themselves by whatever means they allow to trigger it in them. And everybody thinks that choice, we can choose, we assign our triggers for our feelings to bring forth those feelings. Like the first time you fall in love, that person didn't come necessarily to be the love of your life for the rest of your life. They triggered your ability to experience romantic love. As we develop our cognition and we develop our ability to feel other relationships. It's a growth spurt. Suddenly you can have romantic feelings for somebody. Suddenly you can have sexual feelings. Your sexual organs come to life and start to feel what they were made for, what they were created for. And that doesn't mean you're supposed to use them. You're supposed to become familiar with them. You're supposed to understand them, what their purpose is within you. And there's just so much that people don't understand. And then those, they get a bit of an experience of oneness. You know, when the entity called Jesus or Yeshua comes in, people, it comes in and it declares itself. The matrix has, on its timer, has released the illusion, and that which it was hiding within that person says, "Oh, I'm Jesus. Oh, I'm Jesus." And the person's mind is processing this thought, "Oh, I am Jesus." And then their remembering of the Bible and the apocalypse comes, and Waco, Texas happens. Sorry, Waco, Texas. I know you probably don't want to be reminded of that, but that's where these cults end up getting their Armageddon. They create it because it's necessary, because these people became one with the spirit that they worshipped, which was it was hiding in them. For me, I was baptized as a baby, so I was dedicated to this God. And so that would be the God that would have been in me. And I was donated as a vessel for that God. And of course, these entities that put us here, I so appreciate the ones that taught their people how to be as one, live in harmony with nature and the earth itself, together as communities and in healthy relationship with spirits. But for most of us, we did not have that gifting. We were just abandoned, left with texts, rules, and guidance. This is how what you do, this is how you do it. And rituals, especially baptism, where you're brought into a certain state of being by the physical influence of water submerging, fear of drowning, fear, excitement. You do not have full presence within your body, and that's when these spirits and entities come to live in them. So I'm way beyond even what most people have access to as far as spiritual information, and we are one, and we are all the I am, and all of that. I'm grateful for them because they were stepping stones, but dang it all, am I pissed off that a lot of that was implanted just to keep people in these cycles, these loops. Oh, I create my own reality. Oh, that is me. I'm going to own that. Don't own me. Do not identify as me, because you are not. We may have had similar entities run through us. I may have understandings that I gained from them. I may have a lot of potentials that you can share with me, but I have my own unique limits to my character that have been developed from experience and understanding and acceptance of myself. You can put me in the ocean, and that 70% of water that's in my body is not going to contain all the same elements as the ocean in which I am submerged. There's a difference in what is in my water compared to the ocean's waters. And it's the same thing with each and every individual self-determined being, self-realized being. There are a lot of elements in me that are also in Source, the dance, God, Creator. However, I contain different elements that came into being outside, separated during the separation from source. And so while there's room for God or source or the dance to come and get a taste of oneness and an experience of being me and my package of feelings and my perceptions, it is not me, and it knows it. It comes to visit, and it's happy that it has others to come visit. Even when it's in another being, imagining that having another being is an illusion. The illusion can be preserved in somebody else so that source, while in that person, can have the experience of separation from all that it is and everything all at once. But ultimately, you don't want to be alone. You don't want to be the only conscious being in existence. You don't. Source, the dance, rejoices that it has children, whether they acknowledge it or not, whether they know it or not. But mostly, for those of us who know it, there is great rejoicing for our awareness of our own existence as self-realized, individuated, divine beings. There's so much joy in our existence. Our mother is so happy that she's not alone. And I'm happy I'm not alone. I'm happy I'm not everything around me. I'm glad to have company.